Everybody practically knows that for myself, I love the BER months. What do I mean by that? September, October, November, December. But I'm not really a fan of some of this type of thing, the BRRR part of some months during the year. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money More with Jan channel. I would like to thank, as I call, Downtown. Hi, Downtown. How you doing today? Downtown, who is an amazing channel contributor, commenter, and everything else here. We all appreciate you. Just to let you know, we all appreciate you and the other folks too that leave comments. All of your comments are all so very important. And I want to let you know that I so much appreciate it. But this specifically reason, Downtown, that I'm pointing you out is because recently you had mentioned about winterizing or something to that effect, in your situation over there. You mentioned on a comment about, I don't know, about a week back. And it prompted me as a reminder, oh, yeah, I better remind myself to make a video on this very important topic. So I'd like to mention how I will stay warm and toasty, well as can be, on the cheap this upcoming winter season. Number one, I go around and I try to block out all the drafts in my unit. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I have a thing where I like to make door snakes. I have a few, I have to pull them out. But in a pinch, when I'm not in the mood of looking for the door snake yet, just roll up a towel, place it against your window. There are other things you could do. You could get that plastic and place it against your window frames or wherever you detect a draft, because a drafty area could be a chilly area. So these are ways. That's one way for sure. The other thing is that, and I know a lot of people that refuse to do it. And honestly, I don't know why they refuse to do it. They don't cover their head. They don't cover their extremities. They don't wear gloves. They don't wear hats. They don't wear scarves. When you know it's a blustery day, very, very important. Some people think, well, it doesn't matter. Or they don't even put their own hood up, even if they're wearing a hooded jacket or a coat. There's a reason why that hood is there. It could be very, very helpful because when your head is uncovered, for example, especially on a very chilly or downright cold day, you are losing a lot of your own body heat in a hurry. Like there's a high percentage. Some people said like 80%, whatever it is. I don't know the exact percentage, so don't quote me. But I do know this: when I keep my head warm and toasty, the rest of me feels a lot better. Very, very important. Okay. The next thing, a lot of people, I don't know, I guess they skip over it, which is kind of crazy because you could get weather alerts on your phone constantly, not like in the olden days, e.g., even 10, 15 years ago. Well, maybe 15, 20 years ago when you had to rely on the radio or on TV. Nowadays, everyone carries a phone. And sometimes the most important alerts come up. Not a great idea to ignore the weather alerts, especially if you hear that certain things are on the horizon weather-wise. The other thing is pay attention to your local real feel temperature. It may say a certain number, let's say on an indoor thermometer, for example, okay? But when you're out in the blustery wind, you have to factor in the, what do they call it? The wind chill factor, which makes an incredible difference. Dress in multiple layers of clothing. Why multiple layers? Why not just one heavy sweater? Well, when you dress in multiple layers, it's better because there may be situations. First of all, it traps your body heat better, according to some experts. And the other reason is, let's say that you're outside for quite a while and you've been protected. But then sometimes people feel sweaty when they go into a very hot environment. For example, ever go to the doctor on a really cold day? You're perfectly dressed for the outside world. Then you get inside that doctor's office and you're like sitting there like sweating. you see where I'm going with this. Be able to remove some of those outside layers of clothes and feel more comfortable on the inside. And then before you go and return home, you put back, your sweater and all this and that, extra shirt, whatever. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but to me, it is very, very worth it. Next, exercise. Don't like sit still too much. Move around. Get the circulation going. That's really, really important for everyone. And I would imagine, and I'm not a doctor, but I would imagine that for older folks, that may have some issues, with circulation, staying circulated by exercising is really important. Next is my favorite. Drink lots of tea or coffee or cocoa, anything or warm beverages, not too hot. You don't want to burn your mouth, but hot enough. Invest a couple of dollars in a travel mug. Yes, they come in extremely handy, and especially if you are in your car and the day and the weather is kind of like crazy and you're just like waiting and waiting for the traffic to move. If you're in traffic, if you have your traveling mug with you, it's a wonderful thing. Not to mention, it is definitely cost effective, not having to, stop off and, spend extra money. You can make your favorite warm drink or hot drink at home and you have your travel mug. Doesn't have to be the expensive kind that a couple of years ago people were going crazy for. But now probably you could get them at a garage sale is my guess. But I'm just saying, no, it's very important. A limit exposure, like prolonged exposure out in the elements, in the cold elements. It could be not just inconvenient, it could be for some people, absolutely life threatening. There's a ton of information out there about, frostbite, what to do to prevent it from happening at all. I strongly suggest that everyone, that's interested checks it out. Very, very important. And my heart goes out to the workers that have to work outside all day long. Oh my, oh my, oh my. That's amazing. Let me see. Getting blankets ready. Keep a few blankets in your car. Not just, pulling out the blankets now at home, but that's good. That's a start because sometimes people get like very disorganized. They could swear they put those XYZ blankets up in the attic, but the XYZ blankets were actually wrapped up and thrown in the basement. Okay. But meantime, you're going, I'm so cold. And at that moment in time, you're probably not in the mood. You want to have things ready when things are calmer, when things are quieter. That's why I'm a big, big, big situation preventative type of person. Excuse me, when it comes to having things ready. So that's really quite important. When you're, for example, when you're baking, okay, make the most efficiency out of your time baking. For example, if you are, let's say, heating up some roast chicken, well, get another thing that you wanted to use your oven for. Use your oven for more than one thing at the same time. Lots of times people forget to do that, or they think that it has to be done separately. Not necessarily. If you're worried about like certain odors, strong odors of food, like maybe garlicky kind of food, I would kind of wonder about that. But try it at least to see if it works. It is definitely more efficient, okay, to do a couple of things, at the same time. Sometimes we could actually do more than one thing at the same time. And that's the truth. And next, put on one of those videos with a fake fireplace rolling. Why? You're probably saying, well, Jan, that is not going to warm me up. No, technically, it's not going to warm you up, but it gives the illusion of warmth. And you can make a hot cup of cocoa or tea or coffee and just kick back under a blanket should you have enough time. But this is important. Stay close and pay attention to the weather reports. Don't be so embarrassed about wearing a hat. I can't believe how sometimes people are so, I don't know, filled with stubbornness that I don't want to wear a hat. I don't look great in it. When I'm cold, I don't care how silly I might look in a hat that's going to preserve my body heat. Are you kidding me? Very, very important. Also for myself, I prefer gloves over mittens. Okay, as far as winter apparel goes, It's easier for me. I like to wiggle my fingers around instead of just being muffled under mittens. I don't know, mittens are cute, okay, but for me, it's not perfunctory enough. Anyway, downtown, taking a minute again and thank you very much. I'm wishing everybody a warm and toasty upcoming winter season. You're saying, but Jan, it's only October. It's close enough. It doesn't matter the calendar month because I have experienced in my lifetime here in New York, we have actually had snow. We have actually had snow one year. It was almost like around November 1. It was a freak thing, but we used to once in a while get snow in the middle of November. Okay. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the calendar says. It matters what you're listening to on that meteorological forecast. Can I say that word again 3 times? No, I can't. I just can't because I know that I will be tripping all over my words. Take good care of yourself and don't forget to make a lot of hot soup, which you should have. Nothing beats a nice hot bowl of soup when you come in from the cold like that. Take good care of yourself and your amazing family. Thank you.